Hi there. Have you ever had to drop your kids off at the church nursery or daycare and you hear them crying and there's nothing you can do to make it right? Wow, that is such a gut-wrenching feeling, even though you know they will probably be just fine when you leave. Well, we're going to be tapping into some deep feelings today, and I have a story to share about how God met me at a very difficult point in my life and helped me to bond with my family. But first, welcome to Real Talk about Christians and sex. I think that we have to make these topics more approachable or we will never have healthy relationships. I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz, and I just feel like it's my calling to create these safe spaces for these very important conversations. But let's get back to those raw feelings. I have been diving deep into some communication levels, and I've already shared two, and I've used the word FOND, F-O-N-D, as an acronym to describe these levels of communication. And the first level with the letter F is facts. And that's just kind of surface conversation. It's necessary, but it doesn't reveal a whole lot about you. The next level is opinions, which can be scary, but that also is when things start to open up. And today we are going to unpack that N and what it means. That brings me to my story. So about 10 years ago, I was at a really difficult place, and I remember just wishing my couch would open up and swallow me whole, because every day I was going there to sit and look at my computer screen and just had this cross-legged forever day after day pattern. Why? Well, I was newly divorced and unemployed. But worse than that, I was afraid and alone. Now, I was doing all the right things. I was looking at job postings. I was emailing contacts. I was setting up interviews, but I couldn't get away from that really deep place where I was afraid and alone. Now, as things turned out, odd how circumstances can connect, my stepmother passed away right around the time that my marriage was breaking up. So my dad and I found ourselves very separate, different states, but newly single after decades of being married. And so we called each other, and I thought, I'm being the great daughter, I'm calling to check on him, and he would call and check on me. And what I found out over time was that it made a huge difference. I look forward to that call. It was encouragement. I knew he was listening, and I wasn't feeling quite so afraid and alone. Now, did he get me a job or give me money or ask me to come and live with him? No, he didn't fix my situation, but he journeyed with me while I was going through this dark place because I was able to share with him. I shared my needs, my very difficult journey. And I love how God provides for us, because I would never have imagined those situations to occur. But God does not leave us in those dark hours. Now, I have to tell you what a need is not. A need is not, I need you to behavior, action. A need, sharing a need is not telling somebody else what you need them to do. No, sharing a need is when you identify that really deep place where there's a void, there's emptiness, there's something that's missing that's huge. Sometimes we can't even put our finger on it, but It's that sense of I'm not appreciated, I'm not safe, I don't feel valued, I don't feel like I have power to make anything happen. That is a huge, vulnerable place. But if you can get there in your relationship, oh my goodness, it will change everything. That is the beginning of trust. And trust is the beginning of intimacy. You cannot have true intimacy in your marriage, in your sex life, if you can't trust each other. Now, I know that's a lot to process, so I want to give you just a few tips here to kind of lighten your outlook. First of all, it's okay to have a need. Our culture is pretty dysfunctional, and it just encourages suppressing all of that. Please don't suppress it. It's okay that you have a need. Number two, you can begin to open up and develop trust gradually. You don't have to bare your soul 100% on the first try. And number three, learning to trust, learning to share deep needs, it's a skill. It can be learned. So if you didn't grow up with that, you've never experienced it before, that's okay. It's something you can learn. And I'm going to give you a first step that you can start today. So take a deep breath with me. We forget how much God has given us just in that ability. But I want to challenge you to do a check-in that starts with that deep breath. So when you breathe in, ask yourself these two questions. What am I feeling? What am I going to do with those feelings? Because feelings do not make good drivers. They make excellent passengers. So they give us information, but they don't call the shots. You have to have the feelings to go to that deep place, but you want to honor how they play out in your life. And yes, you have control over your feelings. I would love to hear in the comments if you will take that check-in challenge to breathe and ask those two questions about your feelings. And stay tuned because we'll be unpacking that fourth level to communication next time. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, Father God has all the answers that you need, and together we can find them.